I am sitting here with my Xenomorph popcorn bucket and I am ready to review this. Funny enough, I didn't even get this at the Alien screening. I got it when I went to go see Trap. Did I bring it back to the Alien screening? No, it doesn't really fit that much popcorn and it is kinda hard to eat out of, but it looks really cool. So there's a lot of Alien Romulus that was really working for me, largely in the look and style, that goes all out in basically blending the looks of the first two Alien films, where it can be creepy from just the sets and musical score alone. These practical sets are all dirty looking, they rightfully feel like they've been used and lived in. Between the flashing lights and the reds, there's impending doom around every corner. I like how it sets up the characters, which feels fresh. It makes you feel for their situation, as they're on a mining planet with no sunlight and a lot of depression. The place is almost run like a prison. It's grungy, looks riddled with disease and despair, and I love that the planet and the ship still have that 70s future technology. We follow the characters as they sneak on board a space station to get the hell off the planet, only, oops, there were some experiments going on the ship, and maybe a xenomorph lurking around. There's a ton of practical effects work on the ship and also the aliens, and it does save a lot of the shots of the xenomorphs for later in the film, and they do look real and they look terrifying. Sometimes they can seem a bit too insert shoddy, but they look genuinely threatening. When it does incorporate more CGI, that's when it feels like another movie is happening, like the facehuggers now being like the bugs from The Mummy. But then there's some CGI that works, like a scene where they have to dodge the acidy alien blood in zero gravity. That was a really cool ass scene. This is one of those movies that's primarily interested in mood and atmosphere, and not so much on character, really, which is unfortunate, because if it focused just as much on these characters as it does the extremely gritty look, they'd have a pretty great film. There's two characters that work, and that's Andy the android, who really is damn good in this, and I like his story and dynamic with our lead Rain. Other than that, these characters are extremely bland, or some are there to be an asshole, only so we'll want to see them die and die early. There was a lot that was working though. It wasn't completely doing its own thing, but it was just enough to get the series back on track. That is, until the last act comes in and says, "I have some notes." This thing spotlights the absolute worst types of fan service you could possibly do in your movie. Not that it wasn't doing a lot of throwbacks beforehand, it does. There's a familiar face with a special effect that's distracting, but I was still with it more or less. Then it does something so jaw-droppingly awful that I can't believe it stayed in the movie. Yes, the film stops dead so that a character can unnecessarily say one of the classic one-liners of the other film. Only in this case, it makes no sense the character would say this. Stop doing that shit in your sequels. I'm sorry, the only thing that happens when the movie stops for a quote is that there is a gigantic wave of groans throughout the whole audience. Seriously, no one likes this. Stop it! After that, the movie never really recovers. It becomes just a silly mishmash of the other films, and also kind of a sequel to Alien Resurrection. On the one hand, I sorta admire that attempt, but it's still pretty bad even here in the last act. I don't know, yeah, it's one of the better post-Aliens entries, which isn't saying that much. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't, I was rolling my eyes hard. It's a B-. It could have been great if it just stuck to doing its own thing. Thanks for watching, everyone, but if you'd rather stay home and watch a Roger Corman-style Alien film, then check out my Cinema Snob episode on Galaxy of Terror, and we'll see you next time.